That was a response video to Barklord on the subject of the rabble rouser at the Kerry event. You know, rather not say his name because I don't, you know, you'd think I would like people like this, but yeah, I don't like obnoxious, rude people and people who break rules. You know, I mean, I'm for breaking some laws, but I'm not for the idea of breaking rules in general, especially ones that make sense. I mean, you have events, you have to have time limits, you have to have this. You got to play by these rules. I mean, his offense was against everybody sitting in that audience. Anybody who wanted to participate in that event, he was insulting by saying that they didn't come to see him. He wasn't the guy they were there to hear. And yet he wanted to project his agenda on the event, and that's okay. Then stick within your, they give you a time limit. You could use it all up if you want to. Even that's sort of rude. But yeah, I mean, you let him go a little bit past, let him keep pushing, and then finally push too far. And so then the decision's made once you say, sick the cops on him. Well, that's, cops are always going to go too far. So that's really the question is when do you sick cops on people, and how do cops even function? And so to me, he asked for everything he got. I think he did it quite deliberately. I think all he was doing was looking for attention for himself. I think it was all a calculated plan. Had nothing sincere about anything he did. So in that sense, I can't have any empathy for him. I don't care how good your cause is. I didn't even like it when Greenpeace would pull a lot of bullshit. And some of it, in hindsight, they really had to, because they had to get in the press, they had to make some noise. But I don't like it. I don't like when people take an unfair advantage or exploit a circumstance and the rest of it. And that's all he was doing. He's just exploiting somebody else's time, exploiting somebody else's. It wasn't some place where you have a public soapbox and you're entitled to. And even then, what good would the public soapbox be if one guy decided to shout louder than everybody else? And that's all this guy was doing, was imposing his agenda. All right, so in that sense, all right, so I don't have any empathy for him. But that said, I don't like cops. I hate cops. Cops suck. And the problem is, yeah, they have a mentality. I mean, you wouldn't take the job unless you had that arrogant mentality, because who would want the fucking job? I mean, who wants the job? Well, yeah, I'm going to spend my day harassing people, fucking them over. So, yeah, you have to have a pretty arrogant mentality to have that kind of job. And so the fact that they go too far and push the wrong buttons, and they aren't brilliant psychologists, they aren't any of those things. And so, they make a bad situation worse. And so I guess as a solution or something, I've especially in our local town, it's like we pay a preposterous amount of money for cops. It's over $100,000 per cop, and they don't do shit. I mean, to get cats out of trees and shit, they really don't do shit. And it's a lot of money for what you're getting. And so I always thought that there should be like levels of policeman, and maybe they should have a level that has no gun, that's just the talking cop, and then have the bouncer kind of cop who can have some weapons, some restraining weapons of some kind, and then maybe the top level cop is the one with the gun. And and then so you would, in situations like this, you would use the first level cop first, and then move up as you needed to. And the first level cop can just say to somebody, well, you either cooperate with what I'm asking you to do, or I'm going to stick the Dobermans on you. You're going to get the real cop here in a minute, and then the game's going to be over for you, because he's not going to talk to you, he's not going to do anything else. You do something wrong, he's just going to bash you with the club. Because I thought, look, this guy, you can't, there's got to be a point where you're just not going to put up with the nonsense. And I don't see this guy as a Rodney King flailing on the ground kind of person being exploited or abused. He kept asking for it. He wasn't cooperating, he wasn't listening, he wasn't paying any attention. He was resisting arrest, he was resisting being ejected. No one's obligated to answer his fucking stupid question about why he's being ejected for the obvious reason, because he was a fucking annoying asshole. I mean, why the fuck don't they have a right to get him the hell out of there? You know why they were ejecting him. And so whatever. Yeah, I mean, obviously if I was there, I don't know what I would have done, because I don't think I would have stood up and defended the fucker. But you know, I might have asked the cops, so why are you arresting him? I don't even know if I would have done that, because like I said, that kind of a person annoys me. I'm irritated by people who try to take over an agenda, who try to abuse people's indulgence. And that's all he did. He abused indulgence. They were indulgent. They put up with him. They let him be a spectacle. And he wouldn't let go. He would have just kept going and going and going. He refused to have any other end to the circumstance but the end that was created, and he did it, like I said, I think he did it deliberately. He wanted the fucking attention. He wanted the cops. He wanted a scene. And so, you know, in that circumstance, there's nothing to say. He's a really bad poster child for police brutality, because he really fucking deserved it. So that's my take on it anyway.